So good morning to one and all present over here. So we are going to see about an uh, thermocouple. Okay. So in the year 1881, a physicist namely Thomas Seebeck, which is revealed that when two different metal wires are linked at both ends of one junction in a circuit, when the temperature applied to the junction, there will be a flow of current to the circuit, which is known as an EMF. The energy which is produced by the circuit is named the Seebeck effect. Using Thomson-Seebeck effect as its guideline, both Italian physicists, namely Leopoldo Nobili and Makedano Meloni, were collaborated to design a thermoelectrical battery in the year 1826. So that is called as a thermal multiplier. It drew from the discovery of Seebeck's thermoelectricity by merging a calorimeter as well as a thermopile to calculate the radiation. For this effort, some people identified Nobili as the discoverer of thermocouple. What is thermocouple? Actually, the thermocouple can be defined as a kind of temperature sensor that is used to measure the temperature at one specific point in the form of the EMF or an electric current. This sensor comprises two dissimilar metal wires that are connected together at one junction. The temperature, which is measured at this junction, and the other temperature of metal wires simulate the voltages. The amount of EMF generated in thermocouple is very minor, it is in millivolts. So very sensitive devices must be utilized for calculating the EMF produced in the circuit. The common devices used to calculate the EMF are voltage balancing potentiometer and the ordinary galvanometer. From these two, a balancing potentiometer is utilized physically or mechanically. Thermocouple can be referred to as a device which has capacity to measure the temperature of an unknown entity with reference to the entity whose temperature is known. One of the applications of thermocouple is to measure the voltage difference or EMF of a circuit. So what about thermocouple working principle? Actually, the principles mainly depends on three effects, namely Seebeck effect, Peltier effect, and Thomson effect. Seebeck effect. This type of effect occurs among two dissimilar metals. When the heat offers to any one of the metal wire, then the flow of electrons supplies from hot metal wire to cold metal wire. Therefore, direct current stimulates the circuit. Whereas in the case of an Peltier effect, so this Peltier effect is opposite to the Seebeck effect. This effect states that the difference of the temperature which can be formed among any two dissimilar conductors by applying the potential variation among them. Whereas in the case of an Thomson effect, this effect states that as two disparate materials fix together and if they form two joints, the voltage induces the total conductor's length due to the gradient of temperature. This is a physical word that demonstrates the change in rate and direction of temperature at an exact position. What about the construction? It comprises of two different metal wires and that are connected together at junction end. The junction thinks as a measuring end. The end of junction is classified into three types, namely ungrounded junction, grounded junction, and exposed junction. Whereas in the case of an ungrounded, the conductors are totally separated from the conducting car. The applications of this junction includes high pressure applications. When they are saying benefit of using this function is to decrease the stray magnetic electric field. Whereas in the case of ungrounded junction, the metal wires as well as conducting car are connected together. This function is used to measure the temperature in the acidic atmosphere and it supplies resistance to the noise. Whereas in the case of an junction, a exposed junction is applicable in the areas where a quick response is required. This type of junction is used to measure the gas temperature. The metal used to make a thermocouple basically depends on the calculating range of the temperature. Generally, a thermocouple is designed with two different metal wires, namely iron and constant, and that makes a detecting element by connecting at one junction, that is named as a hot junction. This type of two innovations, one junction is connected by voltmeter and transmitter, while the cold junction is connected by the junction associated in the, it is called as a hot junction. What about working of thermocouple? Actually, it is built with two different metals that are coupled together by generating two junctions. The two metals are surrounded by the connections through welding. So in the diagram, junctions are denoted by P and Q. So the temperatures are denoted by T1 and T2. When the temperature junction is dissimilar from the metal, so electromagnetic force which gets over on it. If the temperature at the junction end turn into equivalent, as well as reverse electromagnetic force produces in the circuit and there is no any flow of current. Similarly, the temperature at junction and becomes imbalanced in the potential variations induced in the circuit. The magnitude of the electromagnetic force induced in the circuit relies on the